numbers of the epidemic and will be taking your questions. On July the 3rd, total we report is one new case and one suspected case, and no asymptomatic cases, and 2 newly discharged. From June the 11th to today, in the total we report 332 confirmed cases, and 323 are still in hospital, 9 have been discharged, and 29 asymptomatic patients are under medical observation. And we have been reporting cases below 10 for 6 consecutive days, and we have been seeing the stabilization and some positive signal in terms of this round of COVID-19 transmission. It is a major task for us and a tough battle as well. We have upgraded the emergency response level to level 2 and have conducted the citywide mobilization in terms of the prevention control of this round of epidemic. And we have been locked down the communities around the epicenters, and we have been identifying the key spots, key crowds, and key locations of this round of epidemic. And we have been identifying the key group of people for home observation, home quarantine, and medical observation. We have been carrying out nucleic acid tests for tens of millions of people so as to cut the path of transmission. And the Beijing residents are wearing their masks, washing their hands, and avoid parties and gatherings, and keep an eye on their continue to keep up alert and in order to build this firewall against the COVID-19. After about a month of work, we have been keeping the newly increased cases on a daily basis to less than 10, which is a manifest that the measures that we've been taking are effective and rapid. And we are thanks to our residents. But it's not our time to celebrate victory, and we cannot relax at this time. We need to continue to tighten our controls, especially the management of key groups of people. For those who have been hiding their history and activities that is related to the outbreak of this epidemic, we will be due punishment will be exercised, and this kind of home quarantine has to be exercised in a strict manner, and all the other residents must strengthen self-protection and obey the administration rules of their communities and seek medical advice and medical attention if needed. When under epidemiological investigation, you have to report your route, your activities faithfully. If you hide key information, you will be held responsible and accountable for the following consequences. So personal protection and joint effort is our key to finally win this battle. the employment of university graduates is an important welfare and well-being project of our country. Faced with the challenges of the outbreak, it is our major task to boost the employment market, especially for the university graduates. It is our top priority to strengthen coordination and form synergy and promote and implement policies while giving relevant financial support so as to promote work in this regard. We also need to expand flexible employment markets and job positions, and give special attention to the Hubei graduates as well as those with difficulties at home. Today we have with us cadres from the Human Resources Department and the Friendship Hospital of Beijing, as well as experts from the FDA, from the Food and Drug Administration, to brief you on the latest information. First of all, please allow me to introduce to you the speakers. They are Mr. Xu Xi from the Human Resources Department of Beijing, and Pang Xinghuo from Beijing CDC. Dr. Xing Youqing from Beijing Friendship Hospital. And Dr. Li Fengqing from the Micro Study Lab at the Food and Drug Administration. And first of all, we will be given the floor to Ms. Pang Xinghuo to brief you on the situation of the newly reported cases. From the press, here's the situation of the newly reported case on the 3rd. In the last 24 hours, Beijing reports one new case. Here's the situation of the reported case. He's a male of 65 years old, living in Fengtai District and Majiapu Street, Chengnan Jiayuan community. He's a freelancer, and he mainly takes care of his parents at home. On the 17th of June, he visited his wife and children in Caoqiao and went shopping in Yonghui Market near his wife's residence, and began to show symptoms on July the 1st and seek hospital advice on the 2nd, and was determined as a suspected cases because he shows negative results in the testing, and he did another test on the 3rd, and this time it shows positive result. Each resident has your responsibility in terms of prevention and control of COVID-19. We want to remind our residents that we still need to stay alert and do not relax, and we shouldn't be relaxing at this point. Avoid gathering and remain social distancing, and also cooperate with the epidemiological experts and report your journeys, your trips during this outbreak, and report and seek medical advice as soon as possible if you have symptoms. And all the departments and employers also need to keep a close eye on your employees and make sure the sanitation and disinfection in workplaces. That's all for today's briefing on my part. Thank you, Ms. Pang. Now let's give the floor to Mr. Xu Xi to give you an interpretation for relevant policies to boost the employment market, especially for university graduates. Dear friends from the press and university graduates and their family, the graduate students of the universities are very precious talents and human resources in our city. However, this year you have been encountering with many major problems and challenges that is unprecedented, because many job fairs are cancelled and job opportunities have also been reducing. The city government have been attaching great importance to work in this regard, and we have been implementing targeted measures to help with this cause. Yesterday, we worked with relevant departments to issue these 8 policies in terms of boost employment market in order to encourage employment in SMEs, improve the employment job opportunities in public facilities. And this is a portfolio of a set of policies to boost the job market, especially for university students. This has been widely reported by many friends from media, to which I'm very thankful for. And you might have already familiarized with yourself with all of these policies. I will do some further interpretations. First, in terms of flexible employment, I think one of the highlights of our policies is the flexible employment. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, we discovered that internet, big data, as well as AI are more integrated with people's life. For example, online shopping, this kind of and e-hailing, as well as O2O e-commerce are all booming. And we have a lot of freelance writers, e-commerce in Beijing to start with. So it's not like working part-time, but a self-employment under this special circumstances. The university students are the pioneers in terms of the application of these technologies. So flexible job opportunities is actually a golden window, an opportunity for all of you. However, you might have your concerns because there are a lot of uncertainties to this form of employment. That's why we have been making these measures to provide these self-employers and freelancers to provide you with pensions as well as other types of insurances. I think this is something that we need to encourage and also provide you with policy support at the political front. Second, we've also been working with relevant departments to conduct online job fairs, and we have been pushing relevant information, and about 50,000 university graduates have already found job positions through job fairs online. However, for a lot of SMEs, at this special period of time, they are reducing their number of job positions. For this, we have been providing subsidies to these SMEs, and each month about 1,162 yuan would be given to the employers who hire local university students. That is about 10,000 yuan a year. So for the local employers, if they hire one one local university graduate, they can get a subsidy of about 3,000 for a month. This is a great boost and encouragement to the employers, I believe, to strengthen the connection between employers and employees and job seekers. We also have built platforms to help with the connection between demand and supply, and a more targeted connection as well. This kind of online platform can also help us to ease the pressure. 3, we will be given special attention to those with economic difficulties at home. For those zero employment market and these low-income families and those with physical disabilities, we will keep a record on them. We've also been working with relevant departments to compare and share the information, and altogether about 1,600 students with difficulties at home have already been identified, and we have already been helping them in the first half of this year, and we'll continue with this kind of assistance. We will be pushing employment situations and job opportunities for them at least 3 times per person. And we'll also give you relevant recommendations. And it's not easy to cultivate one university graduate. For the college graduates, you also need to adapt yourself to the new situations and combine self-employment, flexible employment with traditional ways of employment so as to stand on your own and reduce the burdens of your family. Fourth, the college graduates have already left school, but we will not stop our services to them. From mid-July, we will be beginning our 2 months of services and a special campaign to help them with the employment. Even if you have already graduated, we will not stop our services to you, and we will continue to build the bridge between you and employers. So, all in all, the government and the national government and local governments are doing our best to help with the employment situation, especially for college graduates. We hope that the college graduates can also take larger strides and try new ways and models of employment. Last but not least, I wish that all of you can find your ideal job as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Xu. Now let's give the floor to Dr. Xin Youqing to brief you on the situation of emergency services. In order to normalize the prevention control of COVID-19 and ensure the safety for those who seek medical help at the ER, it is important for us to do things to help with the combating of the COVID-19 and also for the patients, for the ER patients. And we also need to avoid hospital-acquired infection. First, this kind of pre-testing at ER has been strictly carried out in our hospital in order to do a careful evaluation of the upcoming patients. And we will be categorizing the patients according to their level of emergency. Those with the highest emergency will receive medical help. will be given priority. For example, heart arrest and stroke and other pregnant women in an emergency situation. During this outbreak, in order to reduce the hospital-acquired infection while ensuring that these patients can receive their much-needed medical help, we also have optimized the surgery plan and treatment plan at the ER. On June the 11th, after this outbreak, Xinfadi outbreak began, on a daily basis receive 400 patients and 133 surgeries have been carried out. And we have performed CPR on more than 100 patients. And second, we also set up quarantine ward and renovate this kind of buffer zone. Since the outbreak of the epidemic of this round, we have set up this quarantine ward for the patients who are in very urgent medical need, however, have not gone through nucleic acid test. And we have also renovated this buffer zone for the patients who are waiting for their nucleic acid test results. If they show positive results, they will be referred to the relevant department, and if it shows negative result, they will be transferred to the dual department for medical assistance. Also, for hospice services, we also have made very strict plans. We have altogether taken in 130 patients in critical conditions, which help us to buy time for the emergency rescue and reduce the chance of cross-infection. 3. For those who are kept for medical observation, after this test of COVID-19, they can be sent to the observation ward zone. In order to ensure their safety, we have this 24/7 shift of our nurses in order to make sure that once a problem is discovered, it is addressed in a very timely fashion. All of the nurses, as well as carers of the patients, have received nucleic acid tests for COVID-19 prior to their services. To ensure the safety of the patients, we also set up 24-hour security guards for those who are kept for medical observation. 5. We also strengthen the trainings for hospital-acquired infection. We have set up an ultrasound room. The patients can stay at the ER zone to receive all of these medical checks. They don't need to go into the hospital. This has also saved time for the patient and reduces the risks of cross-infection. This process of diagnosis and prescription and other procedures has been streamlined, and the risk of cross-infection has been reduced, and the treatment of patients has also been facilitated. We also have established this mechanism for in order to facilitate the dining of the patients. Coming up, we will continue to work according to the notice of our hospital and strengthen our COVID-19 prevention treatment as well as medical services in other sectors and departments so as to make sure that the ER patients are receiving the best medical care that they needed. Thank you, Dr. Xing. Now the floor is open to questions, and please identify yourself before asking a question. This year is a very special year in terms of employment, and more and more workers and laborers do not seek employment in one place. They are seeking more flexible ways of employment in order to improve their income. This is what we call flexible employment. People are very interested in this form of employment, and they have shown their interest in terms of this supporting policies, subsidies, as well as social insurances for flexible employment. So by the end of last year, about 640,000 people are freelancers or employed in a very flexible way, taking up about 6% of the total working population. A lot of the college graduates are innovative and they are full of new ideas. This time, the government, for the first time, connects the idea of flexible employment with the college graduates so as to encourage the implementation of the new ideas of the college graduates. And this is still a new attempt on all of our sides, and there are a lot of uncertainties and questions. So this year, we actually want to address the concerns concerning flexible employment. If you are self-employed or you seek flexible employment, we will be helping you with this medical insurances as well as social insurances. We will be giving you subsidies for 3 years. So you now have 3 years to seek your dreams and realize your personal values. During the entrepreneurship, we will continue to help you with this process. We're also willing to see that the college graduates can find the jobs that is most suitable to them during this process. Next question, please.
谢谢主持人，我是北京交通广播的记者。然后我的问题呢也是提给徐局长。然后我的问题是因为我们也关注到这2天是新发布了一个就是针对北京高校毕业生的这个计划。请问这是一个什么码？然后有什么样的特点
？This new policy of this new QR code has been just publicized. So can you tell us more about this QR code? When we talk about job fairs, it will remind you of a situation when a graduate is having a lot of copies of resumes and sending out the resumes at the job fairs, so it's very crowded. And but this year that would not be possible. Most of the job fairs are carried out online. So this kind of transmission of paper or hard copies of your resumes will not be encouraged. That's why we have invented this QR code called 经由码, and this is to reduce the passing of hard copies. So how do we understand this QR code? This is an employment QR code for the college graduates, which shows that we are very much concerned with this employment situation for our college graduates. This QR code will facilitate the communication between the employers and the college graduates, because by scanning this QR code, very similar to the health code that you are all familiarized with, is some private information, personal information of the college graduates. And by scanning this QR code, the employers can get to know about the employees, and job seekers will also need to get to know about his employer. We have established this employment service platform, which is a hub for all of these services related to college graduate employees. It contains about 10 major items and about 30 bullet points concerning the employment market. With this employment QR code, you can complete a lot of the services, including interview, contracting, and the students can also get to know the situation of the employers. For example, their registration, as well as their social insurance and other information. All of this information are accurate, and big data technologies are widely used in this process. So you don't even need to go out to go through all of these processes to finish all of these procedures. So we encourage all college graduates to use this QR code, because your social insurance information will also be included in this scanning of QR code. This is for life and of paramount importance to all of our college graduates. So you don't need to worry. Even if you have already graduated, we will continue to follow up your employment situation, and will continue to build this bridge for you, between you and the employers. Last question. With the Beijing TV, my question goes to Ms. Li. So how do we deal with food that is purchased at the Xinfadi market? Thank you. I've already mentioned in previous press conferences that no evidence has shown that people can acquire this disease by through the eating of food, through having food. So for the frozen products, aquatic products or beef or mutton, if you suspect that the packages are contaminated, it's okay to just discard the packages and just cook the food in normal ways. But first you need to make sure that the food is fresh and is not deteriorated. And second, for those meat, muttons with packages, at this special period of time, you can use alcohol to do this disinfection, and then cook the food till it's fully ripe, and make sure to separate your knife and chopboard to deal with this raw food with those that deal with ripe food. Even if the food is contaminated, it will be remaining at the surface and will not go into this material. If you want to make sure that the viruses are killed, you can boil the food, boil this packages or this food materials in hot water for several minutes. Also, wear disposable gloves when you are dealing with the food, and avoid using your hand or gloves to touch your nose and your eyes. And last but not least, carry out the inspection of all the utensils and refrigerators after you have already dealt with this food. That's all for today's press conference. And this is the Information Office of Beijing Municipality. You can follow us on multiple portals for the latest updates. For example, Renmin Daily and affiliated website, Xinhua News Network, Beijing Channel, and CCTV, and China.net. That's broadcasted through multiple platforms, including new media as well as TV platforms. Thank you for attending today's conference.